Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Realtor Guy from Portland, Oregon. In today's video, it's like a monthly newsletter video that's going to sum up a bunch of the market data, specifically about Portland, Oregon market, as well as I'll be covering some of the home buying tips in the fall and winter of 2025, talk a little bit about the Fed rate cuts, and what's really going on in Portland, Oregon market. Hopefully it will give you some insight and how to prepare to buy or sell real estate in Portland, Oregon. I hope you guys are doing well. The weather has been just insane these days. It's a little chilly, but I like it. Either way, I'm getting a lot of sun, and that's what matters to me. Let's talk about, well, before I get into the Portland market, I want to touch on the national data first. First of all, the biggest mover of the real estate market right now is the mortgage rate and supply and demand. Supply and demand, it's hard to control, but mortgage rate, you don't have control. It's bankers. What bankers control is we don't have control. But at least it's a good news. Right now it's like 6%. So this is On Point Credit Union. Oh, I need to share this, sorry. On Point Credit Union. So it's 6%. This dropped about about 3 weeks ago. And this may seem lower than what the national news media are saying, but this is the rate that you can actually get locally based on certain credit and everything. And this is the lowest that I've seen in the last 2 years and a half, probably. And so the affordability is increasing pretty fast. And the Federal Reserve, they announced that they're going to have 2 more rate cuts, the Fed funds rate cuts. And more likely, the mortgage rate should come down as well. More likely. It's not 100%, but it is linked, I want to say about 90%. So, and let's see, move on to the national data first, as I mentioned. So the national housing, do I have it as yeah, so all Redfin Metro. So homes sold, the number wise, it's very similar to 2023 and 24. Compared to last year, 5.1% more homes sold. The number that I track closely is the median sale the median sale price per square foot. Yeah, this is the one I follow the most. So compared to last year, right now median sale price per square foot in the countrywide is $210.58. So yeah, my dog just goes in and out every day. So year over year, it appreciated 1.18%. So when you hear the market is crashing, things like that, the national data says no. Obviously, certain parts of the cities are going to go up. The other parts are going to go down, and it averages out to be 1.18. Let me actually close my door. Some days I feel like I need one of those doggy door on my office door, so he doesn't anyways. So let's look at, so that's the national average. Let's look at Portland from here. By the way, you can look at this too all the time. I mean, this is the data you can access, not just realtors like me. It's redfin.com. Let me actually bring it down so you can see it. It's redfin.com/news/data-center. Then you can go in there and just look at all the different cities. The 4-week one looks kind of like jagged. It may be hard to see. So if you go to 12 weeks, it's more smoother lines. You can kind of see it better. So median sale price per square foot in Portland, Oregon is like year over year 1.19% negative. So it's the opposite of national data. It's at this time of the year, it's actually worse than 2023 and 2024. So 2024 compared to last year, 1.19, and then if you compare to like 2023, it's probably like half of that. But what you need to focus on is a median sale price per square foot, $303.14. That's very, very fair number in a way that you can compare that to any cities, anytime. Yes, there are different homes going for sale. Different kind of variables, but this is more of a very objective number that you can follow, and that I follow all the time. And you'll see throughout all the charts here. So let's look at county first. So this one is Washington County in the last 2 weeks activity. Right now in Washington County, 1,144 active listings. In the last 2 weeks, 185 homes accepted contract. In average, it took about 55 days to accept the contract. So this is becoming new norm, guys. We're not getting like acceptable offers in the first 2 weeks like it did from about, I want to say, 2016 to about 2022. For the last, during that time, about 6 years, we just got so used to getting multiple offers in the first week and then getting a reasonable offer in the first 2 weeks. If you're talking to a realtor who started the business in 2017, what they're going to tell you is going to be very different than what I'm going to tell you, because I started in 2008. So it's my 18th year selling real estate. When you see, offers coming in on day 50, that used to be norm a lot of times. Yes, back in the day, 2012, you still get offer in the first week. That's fine. But some properties, especially unique properties, let's say, 4-car garage property, or let's say 5 acres in 97229, very unique property, and those unique property takes time to find the right buyers. So a lot of times, less experienced agents might say, to get the best offer, this and that, oh, we need to do a price cut at, day 45 or day, 3 week mark. We got to do the price cut. Not necessarily. In my opinion, the more unique the property is, the longer it takes to attract the right buyers. Means that when you want to do price reduction, you will want to have a longer period if the property is more unique or uniquer. That's what my Korean brain says. If it's more uniquer, you gotta wait longer. So something I want you to keep in mind when you're thinking about selling. On the flip side of it is, if you're a buyer, just don't assume that you can get a great deal because this unique property has been sitting on the market for 55 days. You don't know. And these properties, it will have certain buyers kind of waiting to make the decision. So that, what just happened to one of my listings, we had it for like 75th day, we got an offer, and then another offer came right after that. So it became a multiple offer situation on day 75. We did one price adjustment, if I remember. Yes, we did one price adjustment. And then on the day 75, 2 offers came in. So that's kind of like, I'm used to that market, but newer agents may not think that way. And in a market like this, it's the patience game, and it's really, marketing for long term. So when a new buyer pool comes in, they can see it. All the current buyers, they've already seen the properties. They're not the buyer then, right? But then there's always new people coming in, always new people getting pre-approved, people moving in from out of town, and you just need to find one of those buyers for your property. So I'm kind of beating the dead horse here. I think you get the point. Yeah. All right, let's move on. One of the things I want to point out in Washington County is 185 pending and 154 sold. So this is last 2 weeks. So if you fast forward 2 weeks, you can tell we're going to have more sold listings than right now, right? So this tells me the market is a little bit accelerating. More homes are sold, being sold. More buyers are coming out because of the mortgage rate drop. That's one of them. And also, I think the fall, like September and October, is where many of the home sellers who've been on the market for the last like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 months, they're losing patience. A lot of times they either take it off the market, or they're just fatigued. They're just marketing fatigued right now. And it could be a good time to, make some lower offers. Every once in a while you might get it if it's the right fit. But I think 2025 fall and winter market will be different because more buyers are coming out. We're not necessarily seeing more listings coming on the market right now, except for people who really have to sell. I have listing coming up in Milwaukee in the next few weeks. They have to sell. They're moving out of state. Other than that, like overall number wise, I'm going to suspect that total active listing will shrink. However, the number of buyers will increase. Means the supply goes down and demand goes up. Then what happens? The price goes up, or it will have more transactions. So I predict that we're going to have way more is very vague. I want to say about 15% more transactions happening compared to last year or year before. So yeah, that's what I predict. $309 is the pending price per square foot. $314 is where still, homes that are on the market. So there's about $5 per square foot difference between homes not selling and homes that are going under contract. And once it's sold, it drops another $11 per square foot from the pending number. Means the buyers probably got some negotiation, lowering price on the repair negotiation, or more credit, whatnot. So that's what's happening. And another thing to take a look at here is that sold price is where right there. OLP is original list price. So from original list price, things are selling at about 5% less than the original listing price, which is indicative of sellers and the seller's agent still slightly overpricing in the first week, or maybe higher expectation. But the reality is only about 12%, is that? Or is it like 13% of the active listings are selling, right? So you have to be, let's say in your zip code, there are 20 homes for sale right now. To get an offer, to get an acceptable offer, you have to be the top 2 or maybe top 3 in that neighborhood of 20 listings. So it's not an easy market for sellers. But when you look at like a multifamily listings, which I'm going to show you in the next few slides, like there are like 54 listings and 50 went pending. So it's much easier market in multifamily, which are like duplex, triplex, fourplex, and things like that. So it is still a slower market, but you have to be really patient. But the reality is, if you're living in the house, it can really tire you out, man. It's like, how often can you like clean out the house nice and shiny every time some agent schedule showing? It can be really tiring. If it's vacant, yeah, who cares? You just put a lockbox and leave the light on and let them just go in and out. But yeah, that's what's happening. So this one was Washington County. Yeah, Washington County, which is where I live. So here is Multnomah County West. Multnomah County West. So I broke it down, the west as Willamette River, west and east, because otherwise the number gets too big to actually see what's going on. And they're very different market too. So on the west side of Multnomah County, 397 active, 61 pending, and 40 sold. The ratio of the pending and sold is very similar to Washington, but it's selling way more ratio-wise than Washington County. It's close to 50% is no. Why can't I think? Yeah, it's close to like 20%. $338 per square foot. Kind of similar story here. The average days on the market is 64 days. What else do I notice? So here's a big difference. 91.48%. So they're selling about 8.5% lower than the original list price, which means in Multnomah County West, they have higher hopes. But the reality is it's a lot lower than the original list price. As you might see, $361 per square foot, and then offer accepted is $338 per square foot. That's a lot of difference there. Yeah. That's like close to 8-9% difference, which shows here basically, right? Yeah. And this is the area with higher property taxes. My assumption is because, that's one of the reasons why I think they're not getting as good of offers. Which I think they need to do something about, by the way. I used to live in 97219, yeah, Southwest Portland. The house that we bought in 2005, we started at about like $5,000 a year property tax. Right now, that house has probably $9,000 a year property tax. It's just out of control over there. Let's see. Let's move over to Multnomah County East. Multnomah County East, price is lower. And 888 active and 219 pending and 150 sold. $299 per square foot is the pending price. But things are selling much faster. So here, average days on the market is about 33 days. Median days is 9 days. So you can safely assume on the east side of Multnomah County, they're still getting multiple offers. That's what it says to me. And active price versus the pending price, they're only $5 difference. So it's 97%, pretty much 97% of original list price. That's the selling price. And there's another maybe $5 on the sold versus pending. So yeah, that's pretty much what it says. So it's doing better than Washington County, as you can see. It could mean that people on the east side, they don't have a higher expectation maybe. They're pricing it right, selling faster, very close to the original list price. So if you're on the east side of Multnomah County, you can be kind of aggressive in a way. The market activity is, still pretty good. A lot of times people like moving in from out of state, they tend to prefer the east side of Multnomah County. It's potentially because they think that that's Portland, which may be true. And the lifestyle, a lot of places to eat, and they prefer that. But then when they drive around, they're like, they have some, different thoughts. A lot of buyers, they start searching on the east side, and then they ended up buying on the west side. There are many other reasons why, the house age, how, crowded it is, the safety issue, like eating out, a lot of places to eat can be good for so long. I don't know, that's my theory. I'm the West guy. I just like the quietness. I like trees. Sometimes more than crowded cities. Let's move over to, so this is Clackamas County. Clackamas County, 778 active, 115 pending, and 98 sold. 94.33% selling price per original list price. Days on the market is kind of similar to Washington County. But the price is higher than the, obviously, there's Lake Oswego, Wesleyan. That's why the price jump. But it's, even in Portland Metro, you really have to look at city by city or zip code by zip code. I'm just giving you like 5,000 foot view of what's going on by county, but you have to really dive in. That's what I'm going to do, dive into 97229. So this is my direct market. I live and do a lot of work here. Now, price per square foot is what I look at on Alto's report. Let's see, oops, not like that. Okay, so you can kind of see better there. As of September 19, 90-day median price per square foot is $314. Okay? And one thing I want to show you here is how it's doing this earthworm thing right there, right? And this is what I want you to know. So there's going to be seasonality. Right there is September 2023, September 2024, and then start going up around February of 2024, And then February of 2025, what happened? It didn't go up that much. So compared to last year, this year has been flatter. So it's kind of like the way I look at this is where the the ripple effect. When you throw a rock into a lake, at first it does this, right? Big waves. And then as it waves goes more softer, it kind of goes like this. Boom, 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 and then just go flat, right? And that's what it's doing, in my opinion. It's my opinion. Now the median list price, that doesn't say much to me. But yeah, let's look at inventory. It's same earthworm, right? It's more like angry earthworm, and you can kind of see there are more listings. So you have to look at this that line. It's gradually we're getting more inventory. With Intel layoff news, but then we just got that really good news that Nvidia is investing, what was it, 2 billion or 20 billion? I don't know, I forget. That's how much Nvidia is going to invest to Intel, and they're going to work together to make products. So that was one of the best news for our neighborhood, actually, because we have a lot of, I probably know close to 30 Intel employees at my tennis club right now. And they actually live here, they work here. And so this is best news, in my opinion. But as you can see, it's not hugely big. If this number was up there, then we're in trouble, but we're not. And let's look at the Beaverton, Oregon price per square foot. And it's kind of like this way, the slowing down the ripple effect. It's kind of flattening, but it's slightly going downward. So Beaverton is not as doing well, and that's what it means. And my guess is that it's going to pick up soon because of the mortgage rate going down. And the other thing is that the sellers might give you some good deals right now, and so it could go down a little bit, but we're going to see more transactions happening. But I think the market is kind of stabilizing and ready to go up. Hillsboro, Oregon, same thing, kind of going downward just a little bit. And the funny thing is, I say this all the time, but nobody knows when the bottom is. I think we already hit the bottom. And somebody wrote this on X that home price going down is going to be good. But you have to ask, for who? If you are going to buy, if you're renting and you want to buy, yeah, it's great news when the price goes down. But if you own something, it's a bad news, right? It's a bad news, especially if you own something that you want to sell right now. It's a bad news. If you want to sell your house and buy something else, then it's like even news, because you're going to lose some money on selling, but you're going to gain some on buying. So it's kind of like a lukewarm, kind of even. So it's all subjective, right? Like haves and not haves, and the good news is bad news for certain people. And I'm more of an advocate for the sellers in this case, because it's like when you own something, you want to see that doing well, and that is a sign that for the future buyers too, you want to buy something that preserves that asset value and appreciates. If it does go up and down too much, why would you buy that? But that's whole other. I don't know why I got there, but Let's look at Portland. Almost the same thing. So, and then I wanted to show you the other number. So this one is just briefly kind of go over. This one is a luxury market, $1.5 million plus in all Tri-County combined. Highest list property is $25 million. 405 active, 31 pending, 15 sold. So the activity doubled in the last 2 weeks. Average days on the market is 94 days. As I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, that more unique the property is, longer it takes to sell, and it's showing that right there. Interestingly, pending price is higher than the active price by $2. Yes. That means there's some big properties sold higher than asking price. And when it was sold, it went down to 508. And 88.21% per original list price. So the higher the price, the fluctuation of the settled price gets bigger. So in the luxury market, it's less than 10% is going under contract right now. Yeah. So that's what's happening in the luxury market. On the flip side, multifamily. I think I said earlier 54, but it's 52 active listings, 52 pending. Same number one pending, which is pretty fast. So average days on the market is 101. So that tells me that the older inventories got the offers in the last 2 weeks, basically. And things are moving pretty fast. At the current rate, if there's no other brand new listings come up, everything will be sold in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's what it means. Which means the demand for the multifamily is super high. Yeah. And they don't give you the price per square foot here because it doesn't have the algorithm to differentiate between the duplex, triplex, fourplex, or apartments. They don't break it down. But what we can see here is 92.51% is the sold price per original list price. Let's look at the median sold. So $720,000. That's kind of like decent duplex price in Washington County right now. If you go to like East Clackamas County, it could go down to maybe 620-ish. But yeah, that's what's going on. What else can I point out here? The high list, like 4.3 million, these are one of those like big apartments or 12 units or 15 unit, one of those. So it's more for bigger investors. The next one is, I didn't pull that up. So that's 97229. Let's look at 97229, see what's happening. 173 active, just one pending. That's crazy. Gosh, that means really nobody's buying. But one person in the last 2 weeks in 97229 on detached home, by the way. I don't include the townhomes or condominiums to this because because the price changes so much because of the homeowners association fees. So it basically screw up the numbers. That's crazy. That's probably the lowest that I've seen. What happened? Possibly the buyers, they already all settled in. This is very school driven neighborhood. People who need to move and send their kids to school, they already settled. They've already bought something in maybe July. So yeah. So that number is going to be very kind of different. Sold wise, it's 91.68%. Yeah. $297 per square foot. Yeah. That doesn't say much. Sold wise, it took 91 days on the market. That's average number to sell. So considering 30 days to close, most of these homes, they got offers in like 45 to 60 days. That's what it's saying. Average. That was 97229. And then here is, this is Hillsboro. Hillsboro, there are 241 active, 36 pending, 33 sold. 52-day average days on the market, 96.87%. Original list price, $299 when it's sold. Nothing jumping at me, but 36 pending and 33 sold. Yeah. So it's pretty much the same as most of the market, really. Let's look at a few more things. And this one is Beaverton. 331 active, 66 pending, 54 sold. So Beaverton is doing better than most of the other cities, because this is close to 20% homes are going under contract. So you just have to be number one or number two per 10 homes for sale in your neighborhood. But the tricky part is the buyers are going to look at your neighborhood and like 20 other neighborhoods, surrounding. And so to look at it more objectively, you have to look at 20 neighborhood all included. You have to be the top 20%. So if there are like 200 homes, you have to be top 4 or 5 in order to attract this kind of offers, because the buyers have that many choices, right? That's how you should look at it. The good news is, let's see, pending price is 308, active is 307. So everybody is realistically prepared here. The expectation is realistic. Home buyers want. Price is realistic. It's selling about 5% lower than the original asking price. And I think it's improving too. So that's Beaverton. One more. So this one is Tigard, Tualatin, Sherwood, and Wilsonville combined. The number seems kind of slow here. Let me pull that actually one more time. That number doesn't look right. Oh, by the way, one of the rules, that number, no, that was the right number. Interesting. So the market is not doing, not many things are happening in these 4 different cities. There are only 58 active, 44 pending, 32 sold. But this is pretty active market in my opinion, because this is like most of the homes are going under contract right now. Average days on the market is 65 days. Things are selling about 96% of the original list price. Pending and sold price is pretty much the same. But overall transaction wise, because we don't have like 200 or 300 active listings, overall transaction is still pretty low. I mean, I know at least like 10 brokers in each cities, and if they're selling maybe one, I mean, they're lucky to sell one in that part of town, which is insane. That's what's happening in Tigard, Tualatin, Sherwood, and Wilsonville, guys. Oh yeah, the new rule that just came out is the Oregon real estate agency is saying that if you are not a brokerage, meaning if you're an individual broker, belong to a brokerage, you have to. Unless you open up a brokerage like myself, I'm my own, right? You cannot have realty or real estate in your name. So that's starting January of 2026. So you might have seen John Doe Real Estate on a sign, but a lot of times those brokers belong to a big brokerage. Keller Smith Realty or something. There's no Keller Smith. I'm just making it up. Keller Smith Realty. He works there, but he's using real estate with his name, and that's not going to be allowed anymore, unless you're like Sean Realty like me. I'm the brokerage. I'm the broker. I'm the only guy. I mean, I have David as my co-agent, but unless you have set up like me, you cannot use. Basically, if I work at Keller Smith Realty, I cannot say Sean New Realty or Sean Real Estate. That's no going forward. Which is to make it easy for consumers to understand and trace back to who they belong to. And there's a lot of issues right now that the real estate industry is going through. One, for example, is like the Zillow is being sued by Compass. And Compass has basically pointed out that the Zillow's fee sharing system is not as transparent. For example, I mean, this is getting into very technical stuff, and I just understand the bare minimum of it. But my understanding is that when you go to the Zillow and you click that number or you click, contact the agent, that click will go to what they call it the flex agent, meaning whoever sign up to become the flex agent at Zillow will have to pay like 40% of the referral fee to Zillow when you close. But the consumer who clicks that button, they don't know that your agent is sharing that much of the commission to another company, which needs to be disclosed. Because now it directly impacts the buyer's negotiation on buyer's agent representation fee. Because right now the buyers either have to pay their own agent or negotiate in the offer to have the seller pay your own agent. Otherwise they have to pay them directly. So it's a very tricky situation. I think Zillow has been doing some. Can I say this? Yes, I can. They have been doing shady stuff. In fact, I did catch them one time that they put somebody else's phone number under my face. I mean, this is a few years ago. And out of curiosity, I called that number and some agent picked it up. It wasn't me. But when you put my face and then Sean Yu and then put somebody else's number who pay for 40% back to them, that's illegal. Yeah, right. So they've been doing that kind of stuff quite a bit, in my opinion, that I've seen at least once. But now they're still doing that in some capacity, and they're being sued. And yeah, it's a bunch of stuff going on. So I'll have to make a separate video about this because I need to be better educated to talk about it and to put it on the YouTube. I certainly don't want to get sued by them, but it's wild. The Wild West is happening right now in real estate in some sense because they're trying to make new rules and then they're making the buyers pay their own agents. Yeah, we're just walking the fine lines right now. Let's see, I think a few more things I want to share and then I'm going to end the video. Like I said, I'm going to, well, if you watch this far, you watch the whole thing, but I'm going to put the time code as much as I can by the area and by the topics. As I mentioned, like 60 days on the market is not as abnormal right now. So if you're a seller, you're wondering, hey, I've been on the market for a month and a half. Why am I not getting offers? I say you may have to be a little bit more patient. As long as you're getting some showings, you're in the game. Now you're not getting any offers and you're not getting any showings, then you're in trouble because your listing is not really shown to the motivated buyers in a way because you're outside of their price bracket for the property that they're looking for. So buyers have certain categories of home search, right? The price, the bedroom size, location, and you are not in there. That's why you're not getting showings. But I say as long as you're getting showings, I mean, you're in the game. You just have to be more patient. And I think, newer agents need to advise the sellers that way too. Like price adjustment every 2 weeks when the seller really doesn't have to sell. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah. So one of the things is that right now the number of buyer pool is very small because of the 6% mortgage rate. So here is, let's say oh, am I showing myself? Let me actually do. So this is a buyer pool at 6%. When the rate goes down to 5.5%, it's gonna triple. When it goes to 5%, it's gonna double. So we're here right now. The buyer pool is kind of limited. That's why activity is low. And one last thing is that there are a lot of doom and gloomers out there, and I kind of call them out. And somebody commented on my YouTube channel that why would you buy an asset that is only going down in the value? And my answer was, there are many ways to do the right, and there are many ways to screw things up in every market. So no matter what the market is, whether it's 2009 or whether it's 2025, there's so many different ways to screw things up, meaning buying a property, like wrong property, overpriced property, bad property. You can do the wrong thing at any given market. At the same time, you can do the best thing at any given market. You could have done great in 2009. You could have done great in 2010. You can still do great in 2025 if you're working with the right professionals who can guide you to meet your goal the best possible way. And so if you're in a sort of like a positive mindset, how can I get the best deal? How can I do the right thing? How can I find the best home for my family? Then you can actually do it in no matter what situation is. There's always way. There's always way to get a good deal. And there's always a way to get screwed and get a bad deal. That's how I view it. So thanks for watching. If you want to go to my website, sean-realty.com, you can see the blog posts that I think is like taking out all the fluffy content, more like important stuff. I try to put it up there. Oh, I want to share this with you. So this one, how do I? Yeah, my surprise face. I started making this list. So right now I have my favorite plumber, the roofing company, and then sushi place. So these are what I call Sean's pick. I'm going to only recommend the vendors or contractors, businesses who I personally use. I use them because I know they're good and they're going to go up there. This is not affiliated. I don't get paid to do this. I just want to, promote good businesses locally here. And if you want to check this out, the address sucks. If you go to my homepage and go to blog, yeah, blogs, I'm going to, pin it at the top so you can see it. Or you could do Sean's pick. If you search, it's going to show up. There's a Sean song too. Cool. Anyways, and then if you want to sign up, if you're watching this, you're already watching this on my YouTube channel. So please hit the like button and subscribe. For, Korean people do this as heart, by the way. No. This is Korean people's version of heart. Yeah. So let's see. That's all I have for today. So this is like a monthly newsletter type, covering everything about the Portland, Oregon. I try to be as concise as I could, but yeah, covering this many things is not easy. But yeah, if you have any questions about the market, selling and buying strategy, please let me know. You can reach me. I'll put all the link below. Oh yeah, one thing I missed, home buying tip. Right now, brand new homes are offering some great deals. They don't want to carry over inventory to 2026. This is time to really hit that negotiation head on and just get a great deal. If you want help in negotiating with the brand new homes, you let me know. I know a few ways to get a good deal. I can guarantee it, but I can do my best. And then the other way to get a good deal is listings that are sitting on the market for 45 days. I know this may, contradict a little bit, but if the sellers are a little bit fatigued right now and they need to sell, they want to sell, they don't want to take it off the market, they don't want to go into next year, they want to go somewhere, if that kind of lines up with what you're looking for, house fits, school district, you like the house, it's going to give you a great place to live, make that offer now, because this is time to, strike some deals. So those are the two home buying tips that I wanted to share. Now I'm covered everything. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.